TiVo. When most people hear that word, they think of something like this. A DVR for their cable TV or their satellite TV, or in my case, the TiVo Bolt for over-the-air. And this is what's called a TiVo Stream. It's been around for years. It's a little box you plug into your router, and it lets you watch your TiVo recordings on your cell phone. Bohemian here, and this is what we're going to be talking about today. The TiVo Stream 4K, which just came out this week. It's got a suggested retail of about $70, but TiVo is selling it at an introductory price of $50, which is what I paid for it. TiVo did not send me one of these for free to get a good review. I paid for this out of my own funds. This is a totally different kind of product for TiVo. It is not a DVR, and it is not a box to hook up to your router to let you watch your DVR programs on your phone. This is an Android TV streaming dongle, kind of like the NVIDIA Shield, but at about a third of the price. It kind of looks like a Chromecast, but rectangular instead of round. But unlike the Chromecast, it comes with its own remote, and it's one of those typical peanut-shaped TiVo remotes. Let's open this up and see what we got. This is the TiVo Stream 4K. HDMI cable on one end, micro USB port on the other, presumably for a power cable, and a little cap on the HDMI port. Now let's see what else is in here. One of TiVo's trademark peanut remote controls. A little smaller than the usual TiVo remote, but there it is. Couple of AAA batteries. Power brick. And USB to micro USB cable for plugging the TiVo Stream 4K into the power brick. And a little bit of an instruction manual that no electronics geek will ever read, of course. Now this thing has a search and discover feature. Find your movies and TV shows super fast. Just type or talk. You can actually key in through the remote or use the built-in Google Assistant to find the show you're about to watch. Voice control. Sounds self-explanatory. Stunning picture, 4K UHD and Dolby Vision HDR. Now that's something my Roku Ultra does not have. My Roku Ultra's got HDR, but not Dolby Vision. Not that it'll matter to me on my Samsung TV, which doesn't have Dolby Vision either. And a built-in Chromecast for apps the TiVo Stream doesn't have. If you want to watch something that TiVo doesn't have, just bring it up on your phone, hit the Chromecast button, and poof, there you're watching it on your big screen. There's the front of the box. On this side, we've got the UPC code and that kind of good stuff. A list of what we just went over of what's included in the box. Some of the more popular apps that are included with it. And of course, it's got the Google Play Store, so I assume you can download any other Android TV capable app from the Google Play Store that's not listed here. Little market speak on the other side. Let's take a closer look at this remote. It's got your standard TV controls here. Power, input, volume up and down, channel up and down. Yeah, I'm trying to get this thing in focus. TiVo button, mute button. I presume that little I is an info button. Then your standard arrow keys and OK button, even though they aren't labeled as such, that's what they are. Return button, skip button, live TV button, Google Assistant button, Netflix button, and your standard 10-digit keypad. Now this is the same shape as your standard TiVo remotes from the DVR days, but not the same size. After all, it's about the same size as your typical Roku remote. That is the remote from my Roku Ultra that I reviewed late last year on this channel. And for comparison, here is your standard TiVo remote. That's the remote from my TiVo Romeo that I've had for years and years and years. And now that I've taken a look at the remote, now let's hook this thing up. And we're back. A little truth in advertising here and some transparency. The preceding video you just saw, I recorded about a week ago. Now, when I started actually playing with this thing and testing out its features, I noticed two big problems that were big enough that I figured, I must have had some sort of setting wrong. This can't be an actual issue with the product. But yes, they are big issues with the product, not something I did wrong. Now, the first issue is as I fire up the TiVo Stream app, I noticed that both on the menus and when watching a program that was not encoded with HDR, the colors are just off the charts. They're oversaturated. They're coming out of their boundaries, and they just don't look good. They just look really bad. And the reason for that is, as I hit the info button on the TV here, HDR is on all the time. This is something that's only supposed to be on when the program is encoded for it. The HDR on the TV kicks on, and it looks really, really good. Black blacks, white whites, lots more colors in between than on a normal TV without HDR. However, this TiVo Stream 4K is making HDR appear all the time. That's just not supposed to happen, and it looks really bad. Now, I'm not sure how much of this is going to show through on a recording and playing back on your phone or your TV, but I'll just play something so you can take a look. Again, I'm not sure how well this is going to work on your TV through my recording, but this TiVo Stream app is actually really nice. Off camera, I added a bunch of shows to the My Shows. I just picked Chicago Fire, and it's now asking whether I want to watch it on Prime Video, Hulu, or Google Play. I'm going to pick Hulu. One reason for that is I know Hulu does not even have HDR. I have a high-definition TV, like a plasma from 10 years ago that doesn't do HDR. That might be fine. Might not be a problem. If you have a low-end, entry-level 4K TV that also doesn't do HDR, or if it has an 8-bit panel where HDR doesn't make a whole lot of difference, this might be acceptable. But if you're watching on a high-end TV with a 10-bit panel where HDR can make a night and day difference, and HDR is applied on programming that's not supposed to be HDR in the first place, like, say, menus, or a program on Hulu that's not encoded with HDR, it just looks like garbage. At first I thought, okay, this had to be some sort of a setting that I'm not looking at. Some sort of setting I'm not doing right. So I wrote to TiVo's tech support, and actually this might be a good time to put into practice the recommendation they gave me as I get out of Hulu here. TiVo tech support told me to go into settings, device preferences, more, display, screen resolution, and you can auto switch to best resolution. Now I'm at the settings right now, and I'm not seeing a device preferences. There is no device preferences here. I frankly consider this a major deal breaker. Full stop. Not an option. Not going to waste any more time with this. I will just get straight to the second big issue I found. Now I'm going to shut this off. wait for it. Wait for it. Now I did not turn that back on. The TiVo turned my TV on by itself. What the hell? I'm going to turn it back off. Okay, just turned it off. Now I'm holding my remote here so you can see that I am not touching any of the buttons, and the TV just turned back on again. I figured that had to be something I'm doing wrong, but it's not. TiVoCommunity.com forums say that is a bug with the device itself. TiVo has acknowledged this is a bug and they're working on it. I have reasonable confidence they can fix that in a relatively short time. The broken HDR thing, on the other hand, the TiVo community forums also say that TiVo's current DVR, the TiVo Edge, has had this same broken, forced-on HDR issue since that DVR got released 7 months ago. So I have no confidence at all that that bug is going to get fixed anytime soon. And until or unless it does, this thing is not usable on a high-end TV. So I am likely going to be returning it. But enough of what I think. I would like to hear what you guys think. Down in the comments section, let me know if this HDR bug is something that's going to keep you from checking it out, or if you have a TV where this doesn't matter. If this isn't a problem for you, also let me know that in the comments section down below. If you think they can master the forced TV turning back on thing, if that's a big problem for you in the meantime, let me know that too. If you liked this video, if you found it informative, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notify bell. I hope you've liked this video. That's all for now. I will see you guys in the next video.